Hey, welcome back to part 2 of how to choose a BCD. You forgot something on the last one. You didn't hit the like button. That really helps us out. I promise. It's free and it only takes 1 second. Would you hit the like button? Enjoy part 2. So next we're going to talk a little bit about the style of BCD. Right? There's a few different styles to choose from, and some of them can cross over a little bit on the different types of diving. So I want to start by saying, can you do me a favor, please? Can you hit that like button? It only takes a second. It really does help us. And we also have a lot of other videos for you to check out, even concerning BCDs. For example, the actual difference between a jacket style and a back inflate BCD. We have a total video just for that gets into great detail, okay? So let's start off with the jacket style BCD. So this is a BCD that you wear. It wraps around your body kind of at the base a little bit. It has all the parts and pieces that you're gonna be familiar with as you learn to dive, because this most likely is the BCD that you learned in. It is the most popular style right now. You can see Angela here. She's wearing a jacket style. That's a little large for her, but you can see how it kind of wraps around the front, and the tighter you make it, the more that it wraps, okay? And it just fits on, and the flotation is all the way around your body, okay? So this is the one you probably learned in, right? From the beginning of BCDs, way when they started selling the jackets in about the early 80s, this is the one that was considered the norm, right? But they do, with technology, they've changed a lot of the BCD. So it's not as popular as it used to be now that you have choices, okay? Now, typically, the jacket style is the heavier of the BCDs. It is the bulkier of the styles. And that's because it provides, say, a lot of storage, for example, pockets, attachments, heavier pieces of equipment that you want to carry. It's got a little more flotation, bigger bladders, things like that. This is also the BCD that needs the most accurate sizing of all the BCDs, because if you get it too big, you tend to kind of slide around in it. That's not good. Plus, it tends to grab a lot more water. And it's your energy that you're using to propel yourself through the water, so you don't want it to grab a lot of water. That just makes it harder for you. You use more air, use more energy, get more tired, right? Okay? If you're going to buy a jacket style BCD, I'd like to suggest that you don't even look at one that doesn't have weight integrated pouches built into it. Some way to hold the weight on the BCD so you don't have to use weight belts. Typically, the manufacturers are still selling some BCDs that don't have weight integration. I think it's the cheaper dive shop that doesn't want to spend the money that would buy those and teach you to use a weight belt. But in reality, for 30 years, the weight integrated BC has pretty much been considered kind of the norm for that. So try to avoid those that you have to use a weight belt. It's just another piece of equipment. It's a little tougher to dive with. Sometimes it'll slide right down around your ankles. That's kind of funny to watch, though, for all the rest of us, okay? The jacket styles, they have greater lift capacities usually. So some of your professional divers, instructors that need to carry a bunch of things, redundant gear, things like that, and extra weights and all, they're going to want the greater lift capacity. Okay, dry suit divers, they're going to want a little more capacity because they're carrying a little more weight, okay? And if anybody has to carry anything extra, or they're going to retrieve something that's heavy, then they're going to want a little bit bigger bladder, okay? They are the middle of the expense range. So you have some BCDs that are the more expensive, some that are the lesser expensive, but the jacket styles as a style are the middle expense range. Okay, I do want to explain a little further, though, on the proper sizing, right? Because you saw when Angela had the BCD and it kind of wrapped around her. Well, that's uninflated. So if you're wearing this BCD, or even if you wore it a little more snugly, and then you inflate it, it not only expands outward, but it also expands inward. So it has a little bit of a crush effect on you, right? And then again, if you didn't like that, so you bought a bigger one, that's kind of bad too. That's why it needs to be really sized right for you. And I'll explain how you fit that in some of our other videos on how to fit a BCD, and we get into it in the jacket style. But basically, if your elevator strap's here, if you can pull them halfway and it's snug, you're good. Because then you have more to pull if you get smaller, or they can be looser if you get bigger. Okay, same thing on the belly band, and you just need about halfway. That's a proper fit, and it can feel snug on you. Okay, so you don't want to swim in it. You don't want it to be too big, and you don't want it to be too tight because it's going to crush you. Okay, next there's something you can look at as far as a feature on a lot of the jacket styles. You can have a hard pack backpack, right? That's hard. It's going to cradle the tank, hold it very firm. And then you can have a soft backpack. Okay, so this one, it actually folds in half. It's very soft, okay? It's not a hard pack. There's some advantages to that, right? You can, as you travel, you can roll it up a little tighter and pack it in a little smaller feature and that kind of thing. It also has some disadvantages, just depending on, you know, if you've tried them both, you just decide which one you like the best, okay? The larger jacket styles, I want to show you something. We get into this in more detail in our jacket style versus back inflate BCD, but you notice the side part here. This is on the side of your body. Okay? So when you're diving, that forms a scoop out to the side, on both sides. So you're kicking, and this is scooping water. It's grabbing water. It's almost like, you know, a wing out there just a little bit, grabbing the water, and your energy is what's driving that. In my opinion, that's a negative because you're scooping water you don't need to scoop, and it causes you a little bit more air. You're going to use up more air doing that. Your energy, you're scooping water. You just, you know, you can imagine it would be like trying to tow a small parachute behind you in the water. That'd be kind of hard to pull. So that kind of does the same thing, okay? They are the hardest BC to dive with as far as maintaining a horizontal position. If you have any air in your BCD, and it's going to go towards the top usually. It's going to kind of want to pull you upward a little bit out of your horizontal position, okay? So it's less streamlined, and it's quite a bit more material, bulky with the side pouches that you have to push through the water, okay? That's a jacket style. So that was pretty good information, right? I hope you liked the video. That helps us in a big way. Only takes a second, please. The next one's on its way. You know, we have a lot of fun making these videos. We hope it makes you smile, and we hope you learn something. And if you can think of someone else that might learn something from these videos, why don't you share it with them? You know how you can help us? Hit that like button below. That'll help us. And if by some chance you haven't subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button and we'll let you know when the next one comes out. Make it a great day.